I started making music when I was 8 years old. I always had music around me when I was a kid growing up.
It's all about creativity. It's just a big playground, you know. We're just having a really good time.
You can reach people and inspire people and, open up people's minds into the possibilities.
I like to be proud of my own songs. I want to make good records.
I'm trying to create a certain sonic universe, creating this kind of magic.
And this is our soundtrack to creativity. Here on the House Down Built Radio, joined by Jonas Fehr, better known as Fehrplay, fresh off the Pryda Friends bandwagon from North America. Jonas, my man, welcome back to the UK. How you doing?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
Yes, no complaints at all. Well, first of all, congratulations on a very successful first run in North America. How was it?
It was amazing. Obviously, it was special for me going there with Jeremy Olander, which I've never done before. I've done a couple of gigs with Jeremy before this, and it's been just amazing. So this, just being able to kind of representing Pryda Friends with Jeremy, it's just been amazing.
Okay, and were you at all nervous about taking the American crowds? Because obviously there's been a lot of potential apprehension, European people going over there and not quite getting the reaction they were expecting. That wasn't the case for you, obviously?
No, well, it's different. It's a different crowd, than Europe. I think in a positive way, because people are very passionate, because it's a new sound. I wouldn't say brand new, but it's new compared to Europe. I mean, people are very educated in Europe in the way that they've been listening to this music for many, many years, So... it's just incredible to see all the passionate people in America. When you play for them, they're just like bang on from the start till end, and it's amazing.
Excellent. We're also hearing reports of you and Jeremy going back to back every now and then, which is a very exciting prospect. How are you finding that? Was that just something off the cuff that you guys decided to do?
Well, we always had that in mind, it would be something that we should do, and it's just come really natural for us. We haven't really planned anything on when to go back to back. It's just we've done it the times when it's felt really right, and it's just been welcomed really great, and it's been a lot of fun as well.
So now I'd like to talk a bit about your journey. Obviously, you started in Norway, and with a brief digression to Manchester, you ended up in London. Tell us a little bit about this geographical spree you've had.
Yeah, well, it started out with me. I wanted to study music production in some way, and I thought, going to the UK would be the best place to do this because of the scene being as it is. It's just part of the culture here. And I moved to Manchester because I knew that was a place where the club scene was pretty good. And obviously I had in mind going to a place where house music was quite big. So I went there to study music production and was there for 3 years and just really fell in love with the club scene as it was. So I went back for half a year to Norway, and I just figured I need to go back to the UK, and London was then for me like the obvious choice. And I've been here for a couple of years now, just love it. People are really into the music here, and it's just great talking to people. I love that.
Okay, now let's talk about the infamous genre handle of progressive house. Now, this is a genre that you have been very closely associated with over the years and seems to have caused a bit of a fuss in terms of the way we're boxing music. How do you interpret the way progressive house is being used as a term within the modern market?
It's a good question. I grew up listening to Eric Prydz and all of these kind of old style progressive house guys, and for me that was kind of what progressive house was about. And it has changed quite radically over the last years, and the arrangement of how a progressive house track has gone from being something that was taking you on kind of a journey to become like a very pop related arrangement. For me it's a bit wrong, but in the end I'm not the one to tell what progressive house is. All kind of genres change over time anyway, but for me it's just like I want to stay true to what I loved from when I started doing this, and I don't want to conform to this new kind of progressive house because I love what I'm doing so much anyway,
Okay, brilliant. So your own journey with Pryda Friends has been one with quite an arching sound, and I think with the latest 2 tracks we've had from you, Monty and Talk to Me, we've seen you really go into sort of a deeper sort of subsect of your sound. Talk us through this decision. Were you at all nervous doing that, given that we had, seen some more uplifting and euphoric stuff from you?
Well, it's not really a conscious decision. I think it's more about what I feel like producing at the time. I'll be inspired by a lot of different genres and a lot of different music, and for me it just felt right to kind of produce something a little bit deeper, and you start off with an idea of how a song will turn up, and then it can change pretty much over the course of when you're producing that track. I usually produce a track over quite a long period of time. You know, I usually work on a couple of tracks at the same time. So, I mean, I love the deep house genre. I love the 80s sound, the retro sound, and I just try to produce something that from what inspires me, and that's kind of how it turned out. And I'm really glad to see that it's been, you know, welcomed positively. So yeah, just love kind of mixing it up a little bit, you know.
Of course, and we've only just got you back from North America, but word on the street is that we're going to lose you again pretty much for the rest of the year. Tell us a bit about what's going on upon your return to the great North American.
Yeah, so we had in mind when we started out thinking about this tour with me and Jeremy to do as many dates as possible, and we started out with 5 dates, and we got so much interest just off the back of those dates that we just filled it up with a lot more dates now, and it looks like we're going to be doing at least 20 odd dates in America and Canada now, which is amazing, obviously, you know. And yeah, so we'll be going from coast to coast and through Canada and just representing Pryda friends, you know. It's going to be great.
Of course. Now, in terms of the bigger picture of your career, what do you consider to have been the biggest challenge you faced as an artist, and why?
Well, yeah, that's also a very good question. I mean, obviously, a big part of breaking through and being a producer in your own rights is finding someone you can work with. You know, you're not more than what you're doing in your basement or whatever until you get someone to work with and can spread your music. So for me, it was trying to get my music out there. You know, I would reach out for many labels and everything, but you know, and to Eric and his management and everything. And in the beginning, it was quite hard. I didn't get a response or anything, and then one day I just got an email, and it was just, yeah, we want to sign your music. And for me, that was like just a big milestone done, you know, and that was incredible. So that's one of the big challenges, I think, for producers most of these days, because there's so many producers, aren't there, you know. Mm-hmm. So how will you stick out? How will you get your music heard and everything? And yeah, so that was a big challenge. And
in terms of the rest of your career, is there a bigger picture? Is there something that you are aiming for, that you want this Fehrplay moniker to stand for the, you know, to stand the test of time?
Obviously, I think every producer wants to be recognized for their music over a long period of time, you know. Obviously, it's a big challenge, you know. You need to keep putting out good records and everything, but a goal is just for me to just be able to do what I'm doing now for at least a decade, you know. That'd be so much fun if I could still be doing this in 10, 15 years time, you know. That'd be incredible. So for me, that's the biggest goal that I have. And obviously, you know, there's small goals on the way, small steps all the way, you know, and like working with artists and songwriters and stuff like that. But the main goal is just to be doing what I'm doing in 10 years time, you know.
So we know that we're losing you to North America again for pretty much the remainder of the year, but musically it sounds like there's some pretty exciting stuff coming from you. What can we be expecting from the vast studio artillery of yours?
Yeah, you know, I've got a couple of releases I'm working on that I think would be great for both Pryda friends and maybe other labels, you know. So I'm thinking maybe get a couple of releases out before the end of 2013, you know. But I'm not rushing anything. I want it to be perfect before it goes anywhere. But you know, it's looking really good. So a couple of tracks coming out now. It's gonna be pretty good.
So to round off a very serious and provocative interview, I've got to ask you this one question: would you prefer to have feet for hands or hands for feet?
That's a very good question, Dan. I think I would have 4 hands.
And why?
But I don't know. You could. Don't you use your hands the most? I don't know. I could hang off things, you know, like a monkey or something. I don't know.
Planet of the Apes style. Okay,
yeah,
I like this.
Exactly.
I like the thinking.
That'd be alright. I think I'd quite enjoy that, you know.
Jonas, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us here on the House Dan Built Radio, and good luck in North America.
Thank you very much, Dan. It's been a pleasure.